Hello everyone, and myself, Mrs. Kalpana Singh, and I am a senior research fellow in Department of Sociology under the supervision of Professor Dr. Rajiv Kumar sir in DBS PG College, Kanpur. Okay, so I am again here with another thinker in the series, that is Bronislaw Malinowski. Now this series will contain five thinkers under structure, functionalism, and structuralism. These are Bronislaw Malinowski, A.R. Radcliffe Brown, Talcott Parsons, Robert K. Merton, Claude Levi-Strauss. Now, this is the basics about all the five sociologists we are going to cover in this series. That is Bronislaw Malinowski, lifespan 1884 to 1942, country Poland. A.R. Radcliffe Brown, lifespan 1881 to 1955, country England. Then Talcott Parsons, lifespan 1902 to 1979, that is country America. Robert K. Merton, 1910 to 2003, country America. Claude Levi-Strauss, 1908 to 2009, country Belgium, French. Now this that I told in the previous slides, things are facts, okay? And you need to just remember it for any kind of objective exam. These are the basic things you need to go through. Now, in each and every thinker series, I have included the picture just to ensure that each and everybody who is watching the video will be familiar with the thinker we are talking about. And when you see this video multiple times, you have exact idea that which thinker you are reading. Okay. Now, this is a picture of Bronislaw Malinowski, and these are few of the notable works. That is Argonauts of Western Pacific, 1922, Scientific Theory of Culture and Other Essays, 1944, Sex, Culture and Myth, 1913, Magic, Science and Religion, 1925, Crime and Custom in Savage Society, 1926, Sex and Repression in Savage Society, 1927. Okay, before we proceed in this about this particular sociologist, we need to know that in the series I have already discussed three thinkers previously. Okay, that is Karl Marx, Max Weber, and Emile Durkheim. Now, what you need to do is first you thoroughly read the life history of that particular sociologist. See, the saying is that necessity is the mother of invention, right? And when you read the life experiences of each individual thinker, you will get to know that the theories being developed by those sociologists come out of their own individual life experiences, and that individual life process they have gone through had a very large impact over these thinkers. Okay, for example, in Max Weber, the tragic relationship between him and his father, and the tragic life he led ahead. Then Karl Marx also had a similar tragic history, but with different relations, and he really lived in poverty for a very long period of time. That has a negative impact, and the work area he and the workplace he worked. So he gathered all those things to analyze the society around him in the similar way. So you come to know that there is a class struggle, the importance of economy is too large, and why he come through that. Okay. Now when we read the Emile Durkheim life history about the functionalism, then we see that he come from a very renowned family, and he has a very early exposure of thinking intellectuals at his home and meeting with his father, and he has a profound, that entire process has a profound effect on Emile Durkheim. So in this way, it will be easy for learning individual thinkers and going deep into it instead of just taking them as a fact and memorizing it. Okay, and then only you will be able to relate these thinkers in the contemporary scenario, in contemporary social issue you come across every now and then in newspaper. Okay, now let's proceed with Bronislaw Malinowski and what are the major things given by him. Now, first we will discuss the method of field work. It is basically ethnography, and he is one of the founders of social anthropology. Just a minute, I should take a pen. Okay. Now, here in the this is properly visible. Here you can see in middle it is Bronislaw Malinowski, and he is one of the founders of social anthropology, and he emphasized on the field work. Okay, when you say field work, let me read first. Especially the period of participant observation, with no interpreter or translator. Spend a considerable amount of time in Maelu and especially Trobriand Islanders. Okay. Now this is the statement ethnography. Okay, in research methodology, you will have a detailed study about this particular method in qualitative methodology. Ethnography continue to enthrall each generation of anthropologists through its intensity, rich detail, and penetrating revelations. Now, see what is field work. Okay, now in when you go for research, you have seen research methodology. There are two kind of data: primary data and secondary data. Okay, this primary data you take directly from the respondent. You have a direct conversation with the respondent. Okay, so there is no interpreter in between. There is no translator in between. Okay, respondent give you the answer and you take note it down in some interview schedule, questionnaire or paper. Whereas in secondary data, there is a respondent, but this is already taken by some in between person or organization. Okay, in between person or organization. Actually, I am writing this using this scroller's mouse only. That's why this writing poor, but you will get to understand this. Okay. Now, what is important for it? For him, it was anthropology, and we know the difference between anthropology and sociology is basically anthropology tries to study the primitive man, okay? That is tribal areas, people living in far off areas, and not in the mainstream of the society, not the difference between the tribal and the rural or urban people. So, that is the main difference. So, what he wanted to know is participant observation, okay? You go and reside with these tribal peoples, okay, for at least a considerable amount of period, for say at least 1 year, and with no interpreter and no translator. Then whatever observation, you should behave as a member of that particular society. Okay, you should act as a member of particular society, and they will also treat you as their own member, and whatever observations you will having on the daily basis, that you will have to go back and note it down on your diary or a notebook. So this is the participant observation with no interpreter or translator. That it means entire data depends on your vision, okay, your interpretation, your observation. Now next, that it is a fact that where he has studied this, it is a Trobriand island, and this kind of data that comes directly between the conversation of the researcher and the respondent is very good in its intensity. It's a very rich detail and penetrating revelation. Okay, they have uh, uh, they come up with so many rituals, very unique in their own nature, happening in that particular island. And he noted down. Later on, he published this in his book, and we come to know that what exactly is going on this tribal area. So that is participant observation. There is another study where a sociologist lived with deviant group, and through this they come up with the actual reading what motivates them to do crime, how they are influenced by this, whether they are in this profession by choice or by force. Okay, so participant observation give very true data about a particular group of people whom the researcher want to study, though it has some negative point, but we are here just discussing what methods Malinowski has emphasized. Now, Malinowski talk about the needs and categorize them in three parts. That is, start from here. That is basic needs. Okay, and just a minute. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so these are the basic need. Then there are derived needs. Then ultimately there is an integrative need. Okay, so what is the difference between see, there are two thinkers. After Malinowski, we will be studying Radcliffe Brown. So these two thinkers have given a similar kind of theory, but there is a very small and a very significant difference between them. Is Malinowski emphasized the needs of the individual. Okay, So if society need to the functionalism society needs to move in a smooth way, the first thing is to satisfy the needs of the individual. Whereas for Redcliffe Brown, it was needs of the society must be met for a smooth functioning of the entire system. Okay, let's read this statement. By need, then I understand the system of conditions in the human organism, in the cultural setting, and in the relation of both to natural environment and necessary for the survival of the group and organism. A need, therefore, is a limiting set of facts, habits, and their motivations. The learned responses and the foundation of organization must be so arranged as to allow the basic needs to be satisfied. Okay, just a minute. Okay, see the important thing, basic need of to be satisfied. So he emphasized if something needs to work continue, then the basic needs should be met first. Okay, now how this need will be met, then there will be responses, there will be cultural responses, society will come up with elements which will satisfy the basic needs, and in this entire process there will be establishment of organization, the foundations of organization, right? So this is the entire step. Now you see similar kind of logic we come across Karl Marx also when he say economic determinism, the survival of the human is very important, and for that we need to enter into the modes in the production process, the modes of production, relation of production, and upon which he built up the entire vast the theories which will explain how the transition from one society to another society takes place and the reason behind it. They come up with the economic determinism theory. So here also Malinowski talks about the needs of individual, but the basic difference is Karl Marx talk about the economic, he emphasized the economic needs, and everything else is dependent upon it when he say the superstructure and the infrastructure. Whereas here Malinowski say needs are diverse. Okay, they are physical needs. Okay, they are eating needs, they are reproduction needs, there are number of needs, a collection of needs. Okay, and then he divided those needs in three types. Starting from this the basic, then went to derived needs, then this is integrative needs. Okay, so this was the basics. Now next, now this is you can take a screenshot also. You can, because I personally believe that taking screenshot that remains in the mobile forever and never come up or never been searched for study. So it's better that you keep on writing in a paper and keep those paper in one particular place. Okay, writing is not the end in process. I myself keep on practicing writing, and you also do the similar kind of thing. It also gives you practice, and you automatically learn everything instead of just looking at the photos or screenshots or I personally don't feel e-books are very much comfortable. Okay, I don't find them very comfortable. It damages the eye. I don't get anything from it. So I generally prefer the hard books. Now this is the basic need. See, this is the basic need, and this is the cultural responses. This is derived needs, and these are the cultural responses. Okay, metabolism, then the cultural responses, commissariat. Reproduction, then there is a kinship. Okay, bodily comforts, there are shelter games. For safety, there are protection. Movement, there are activities. For growth, there is training. For health, there must be hygiene. Okay. Then this is derived needs, and there are cultural for requirements of maintenance of cultural apparatus. There is economics. Okay. For regulation of human behavior, there is social control. For socialization, there is education. Okay. For exercise of authority, there is political organization. It means that you have certain needs come up with, and you cannot immediately, like there is a difference between animals and humans. So animal work upon the basic instincts. If they are hungry, they go and search for food and have them and satisfy their hunger. But in humans it is entirely different. You are hungry, but you have to go through entire process of cooking and making it suitable for your own body. while cooking and making food itself, when you take a raw food and take a raw material and convert it into a dish, okay, then it's become a part of a culture. Because let's say, for example, you see, uh, today in globalization, we are able to eat Chinese food in Kanpur, Thai food in Kanpur. Okay, in Kanpur there is a plethora of varieties of food from all over the world, but it is just a process has reached here. Okay, how to cook this process has reached here. So this variety is available in north, south, east, west direction of all over the world, and you will find a same fruit or a same dish, a same fruit can be converted into multiple dish according to the culture of the people, right? So according to their culture they prepare food and that suits their body and ultimately they satisfy their hunger. So their needs are systematized, okay, for the smooth functioning of the entire social system. Otherwise, there will be chaos for reproduction. Like here, for reproduction, there must be uh, first the normative. We'll go through the normative, not the exceptions. First one is there should be a male and a female. Then there should be a institution taking place between them that is called marriage. Then they will, from the family of orientation, they will step into the family of procreation, and they will give birth to their own children. Okay, and the need of reproduction will be satisfied with this entire system. Because in kinship, you have rules whom you can marry with, whom you cannot marry with. There is endogamy, there is exogamy. In different religion, there are different rules, but there are rules. There is no society without rules because society has evolved. Okay, earlier Karl Marx told about the communism where there was it was a classless society and there was no rules, but over a period with the emergence of private property, it is according to Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels that they have come up with the structure of family, private property, own children, okay, then transfer of property, inheritance to the own blood. So this there is an entire chain to fulfill your need. Okay, you cannot fulfill your need just out of nowhere without any rules. You can just go out and fulfill your no. There is an entire system. So every element of the society is there to satisfy the needs of an individual in a systematic way. Okay, there are shelter games. If you need movement, there are certain activities you just not go out and start dancing or beating or do whatever you want. You cannot do that. There is no nothing called absolute movement. Okay, it is always a relative movement related to the atmosphere or the context around. Okay, so these were the thing like entire economics, entire social control, the process of education, both formal and informal, with your primary groups of parent, friends, and neighbor. Okay, with your school, then higher education, and similar kind of things. Then the political organization. Okay, then you have read the Hobbes law, Rousseau concept of theory of social contract, how it come up with. So these are the things. The basic thing is your needs will be fulfilled, the needs of the individual will be fulfilled, but in a systematic way, and the entire system is standing upon the needs of an individual. Okay, now just a minute, I should change the color of pen. Okay, now let's read this statement. It is clear, I think, that any theory of culture has to start from organic needs of man. Okay, and if it succeeds in relating the more complex, when it is over, the more complex, indirect, but perhaps fully imperative needs of the type which we call spiritual, economic, or social. It will supply us with a set of general laws such as we need in sound scientific theory. So ultimately, goal is to make some theory of society. Okay, come up with some, because you see, I earlier explained in a Mal Durkheim video also that the problem with functionalists and positivists was come up with, because earlier it was competition with the science, that science is so much reputed and have so much respect in the society, then society should also be studied in scientific way and come up with scientific laws. So later on sociologists contradicted it and they say that the element are entirely different, the element of study is entirely different of our society. So we cannot come up with general laws like in natural sciences, right? So the ultimate goal was to come up with general laws. There is no specific law. See, even in science we come up like the weather condition and its forecasting, and later on it proved to be wrong. So there is no something called absolute truth. Okay, there is a truth is always relative. So these are the general laws, and it was the basic theory of needs. Okay, okay. Let's move ahead. Now there is a Kula exchange. Okay, this is uh, okay. This is very important. The Kula exchange. Now first we read its characteristic: ceremonial or gift exchange, different from barter system. Social alliances, social prestige to the holder, and temporary possession keeps on circulating. Social solidarity, no intrinsic value, symbolic value. Reciprocity is implicit in exchanges, especially in gift exchanges. And just a minute. Okay, okay. And this is very important. Once in Kula, always in a Kula. Let's start. That first thing, here you can see arm band. Okay, हिंदी it is called बाजूबंद. Okay, ये बाजू में जो पहनता है ना, जो बाजू में हम लोग डालते हैं, that is arm band. Molly it is called. Particular name is there. Molly. Okay. Now this arm band we see today also in weddings. Jewelry part is there. Okay, डाल कहते हैं जिसको. So jewelry part, in jewelry part you see there is an ornament. Now this particular ornament has no intrinsic value. What do you mean by intrinsic value? This particular ornament is not made up of any, just a minute, cough and cold is my friend. So this this particular armband, it is not made up of any precious metal, okay, like gold, silver, diamond, or platinum, right? Or anything else you, if you know, I don't know. I know these are, and gold is just a god in Indian culture. So this doesn't have any intrinsic value, but it has symbolic value. Means if a person is having this, possessing it at one time, then he is seen with great respect. It has symbolic value. If you remember, there is a latest film PK, right? You have seen the scene of Gandhiji's photo on currency note, and he collect all the things with Gandhiji's photo on it. But later on, the vendor only accept the note, the RBI governor signed note. Other things he throw it, right? He say that it doesn't have any value. Got that point? So similarly, this was a precious thing in Trobian Island and Kola exchange. Okay, so symbolic value means person holding it at a particular time. Okay. Next is it's keep on circulating. So this is the circle. There is a small number of people in tribal areas. You don't find a very large population. People are connected with some relations. So this armband, it moves in a clockwise direction, right? If somebody is holding this, got this, and after a certain time somebody else will get this. Okay, after a certain time somebody else get this, after a certain time somebody else will get this. So this keep on circulating. At one point only one person will be having this moali, right? Similarly, this is necklace swallow. Okay, and it moves in a, just a minute, it moves in a clockwise direction. Okay, so it goes like this, it moves in a clockwise direction. And this is all the rest, all the things are similar, that it don't have any intrinsic value, it has a symbolic value. Person holding it will have a great respect at a particular time, means you one cannot hold it for the lifetime. Like today, uh, today there is a great concept of individual prosperity, individual possessions. Okay, that time it was In Kula exchange, it is not some kind something you can have for lifetime. You have to transfer it on a ceremonial, okay, occasions. There is a ceremony, there is an occasion. You can uh, pass it to the next member. This is not like barter system, because in barter you have a direct exchange. You give something, you take something. That something is later on being polished over a period of time. But barter system, it is at time. Okay. Whereas the ceremonial, the ceremony should be there, and at a particular time one has to pass it on to the next person. Okay. Social prestige, like for example, you see in schools, the houses, the four houses. I was a part of Gandhi House, then there is a Tagore House, similar kind of houses, and they get a trophy of a best house or similar things. They don't possess it, okay? They cannot keep it at their home for a very long period of time, okay? They keep it for a very short period of time, or just a 1 day or 2 day, and they after that they have to give this that trophy back to the school for next year. Then somebody else will get it. So similar things are there here also, right? Now you will be having the clear understanding, okay? Once in a kula, always in a kula. So once you are a part of this ring, okay, ये जो इधर सर्कल जैसे घूम रहे, once you are part of this ring, then you will always be a part of this ring, okay? And that's all. There are social alliances to become a part of this kula. There must be some relationship. There must be some connections, either by blood or by affinity. Is that clear? By blood or marriage. So this was all about the Kula exchange. This Muali armband, that anti-clockwise direction, swallow necklace, that is clockwise direction. Okay. Now let's move. Okay. So this was all the big things about. This is not the all things. Okay. These are the big things in uh, this. Malinovsky, okay, and you have to go through a deep reading of all these things. There are certain other things, but in exams, the maximum question are asked from all the three concepts that I discussed in the previous slide. Okay, so this was all about Radcliffe. Sorry, not Radcliffe now. It is Malinovsky. Okay, Brainsco Malinovsky. You have to read the life history, on which date he was born, schools, graduation, in PhD thesis, his supervisor. These are the facts that you have to go through and you have to practice it. That was a brief introduction about Bronislaw Malinowski. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Okay, have a good day.